Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders. This video is to bring you a closer look at the CRL or CR Lawrence. Their part number 689 offset pivot set 313. 689313 meaning dark bronze finish. 689 is their pivot. It's an offset pivot, completely reversible. 313 is dark bronze. If you change that to 628, you'll get aluminum. Let's go over all the pieces. Let's start at the ground and work our way up. Here's your floor portion. Okay. Generally, what's going to happen is that this is what you see when you are standing on, let's say, the pole side of a left-hand reverse door. Okay. So from your perspective in the video, the hinges are my elbow and the door swings towards you, so it'd be a left-hand reverse. That's really what you're going to see. This section back here is attached to the ground, and your threshold will come over it somehow. You might cope around it. You might integrate this into the cutting of where the threshold needs to be. However large or wide the threshold is, this is generally concealed below the threshold. Okay. Now, as we work our way up the door, let's go over the dimensional properties. Overall depth of the plate, about 3 3/8. Overall width, about 1 5/8 inches. Oops, glad it wasn't glass. Overall height of the body is about 1 inch to the end of the spindle. It's about 1 5/16. That's your floor portion. Now, for the door portion. Obviously what you're dealing with is that sort of scenario now, where you've got your door portion. Your door is going to sit in here. And then again, from your perspective, it's a left-hand reverse. Large undercut inverted U-channel that you need. We'll go over that in a moment when we get to the cut sheet. Completely reversible. You can loosen the set screw that's here. And it just happens to be loose by hand. Put that here, tighten it, flip it over. You've got the opposite hand. Okay? Same scenario. Now you're looking at the opposite hand door, a right-hand reverse. Okay? Let's go over the dimensional properties of the item. Overall height of the knuckle portion that you're going to see on top of the floor portion, about 1 3/16 inches. Overall length of the arm, about 4 3/4. Thickness or depth of the arm, about 1 1/8 inches. Elongated holes, that's so that when you get your holes drilled, tapped, however you're installing it, you'll have the ability to tailor the door in its position as far as the bottom arm goes. That's crucial. Okay, there's your bottom portion. Okay, there we go. Now to the header portion, you've got the stud that's here, again completely reversible. Can go either way. You're going to need it to. It's going to look like this if we're doing the same sort of installation. Okay. That arm, let's go over that now. So dimensional properties. Overall depth of the arm, about 2 7/8. Again, about 4 3/4, and then about 1 1/8 inches. Those top and bottom portions are of course identical pieces. The only thing that changes is what's happening for the bottom and what's happening for the top, allowing them to be completely reversible. Then you've got your header portion of the unit. Okay. Had that right the first time. Now you see how it looks. Same sort of scenario. That's the portion that's going to be attached to the header. What's nice about this pivot design, top pivot design, is that you'll have your screws that will be attached to the header. Then you've got these two screws that are here that will allow you a lot of stability in obviously in both directions, so to speak, this way and this way. Okay. Let's go over the dimensional properties of the top pivot frame portion. Overall depth, about 3 1/8. Overall width of the plate, about 1 5/8 inches. Overall height, about an inch and an eighth or so. Then the knuckle portion is about 9/16. Now, that link to the cut sheet, that's going to give you all of the important dimensional properties not easily covered here in terms of installation. What's most important to realize is that you have a plumb line, your vertical axis of pivoting at 13/16 from the jamb to the center line of this hole and all the way through the top pivot of the door portion, through the bottom pivot of the door portion, and then the floor portion itself. That line has to be plumb and continuous from the jamb over, calculating a 1/16 of an inch door clearance. So 3/4 inch, I suppose, from the edge of the door, but it should be margined off the jamb itself. That line has to be plumb. You've got your dimension for that. Then your portion for the head, 3 3/4 over to where they're going to want that screw located for here from the center line of pivot. That's going to locate the important data for you immediately. Same dimension from the bottom, and that 3 3/4 is measured from the vertical axis of pivoting. The other important dimension to know is it's 2 1/4 from the floor, from where this is going to sit. Okay. From the floor to basically the bottom of the door. So if we took this, the bottom plate, and we took the arm and we stacked them together, then we ran that tape measure down, and interestingly enough, there's no real vertical margin tolerance at all, no adjustability. Okay, 2 1/4. Top of where the pivot arm, the door bottom pivot arm, to the bottom of the floor would be is 2 1/4. That's going to be the important dimension to accomplish based on your door construction. The door needs to have that sort of an inverted channel to allow you a dimension from the floor to the underside of the inverted channel of 2 1/4. Obviously underneath in that space you're going to have to account for the floor condition, for the threshold, for the undercut between the bottom of the door and the top of the finished sill. Okay, which they are suggesting to be 3/16 of an inch based on a 1/2 inch threshold. That will allow you to then determine your net door height, of course. The other important dimension that's realized as being a 3/4 offset pivot, that dimension is from the face of the door to the center line of the hole. Okay, that's automatically accomplished with the top pivot naturally. You couldn't change it if you wanted to, but this needs to be face of the door to the vertical axis of pivoting of the spindle at 3/4 inch. So that has to be placed properly. So some plumb lines is what you'll have to drop and make sure you've got that all very accurate. Not only from the jamb, but of course from the face of the door as well. It's got to be 3/4 from the face of the door, 13/16 from the jamb over to the center line. If you accomplish that, then you're in real good shape. I think that pretty much ties everything up except to show you that you're going to get all the bolts you'll need. You get the fasteners for the floor. You're going to get your screw packages with your star washers for the door portion of the arm, top and bottom. Then you will, of course, get your screws to hold the top plate onto the aluminum frame. Okay. Finally, the name C.R. Lawrence, and this is, of course, a Jackson product owned by C.R. Lawrence, is synonymous with aluminum storefront hardware, whether it be pivots, or hinges, or lock sets, or door closers, or panic devices. However, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the C.R. Lawrence products that we sell, a link to the manufacturer's website, but then a link to all of their subsection catalogs. Each subsection catalog is massive on its own standing. You're obviously going to find this hardware in the architectural hardware catalog. You're probably going to find it in other catalogs as well. There's some crossover. C.R. Lawrence, the summary of them is not only the aluminum storefront door hardware that we've discussed, pivots, weather stripping, closers, exit devices, locks, but their shower door hardware, glass shower enclosures that you'll see in residential and commercial applications, hinges, the gaskets for the hinges, the installation hardware, the towel bars, the push and pull bar assemblies that you'd see on that material. Their door and their door and window section gets into a lot of the pile weather stripping that you'll see in doors and windows. And then all of the other items that you'll see there, the categories of their top level catalogs. It's synonymous with so many different product lines. You might want to. C.R. Lawrence is one of those companies that you realize, gosh, I can get so many disparate items from them. You might want to bookmark that page and familiarize yourself with it as time allows. If you have any questions on the C.R. Lawrence, this is their part number 689. What did I say before? 689 in a 313 finish. Offset pivot set or any other C.R. Lawrence product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.